managing my anxiety. And when I know I'm about to be in front of people, I kind of do what Mel Robbins does. She's also a podcaster and an author. She counts back 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like she's about to walk on stage. So I take those deep breaths and I say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I literally picture a chalkboard in my head with things written on it, and I'm wiping it clean so that when I get in front of the person, they start writing the next thing on the chalkboard.
Yes.
Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the 1357 podcast. My name is Morgan, and I am so grateful you are tuning in to another episode. And let me tell you, we have an incredible guest today who is so wise and so profound and such a deep love in my heart. I can't wait to introduce you. And a little bit about the 1357 podcast, of course, before we get started. As a cheerleader of 20 years, we would chant during the pyramid, 1, 3, 5, 7, as a way to keep everyone engaged, motivated, and in sync. And that's what I want to do for you guys as well. I want to keep you guys motivated, inspired, and really in sync with your best selves. So what we're going to do, we're going to have one miracle moment that Shanleigh is going to tell us about. We're going to have 3 questions to ask Shanleigh, and so we get to know her a little bit more. And then she's bringing us 5 tips from her life experience. And let me tell you, you definitely want to stay tuned for those tips because she is really one of the people I go to for advice. And she's just an incredible level head that has really done a lot in her life to become the best that she can be. And it's very inspiring. And then we have a 7-minute chit chat, which is going to be a lot of fun because we are good friends. And I'm really looking forward to that part too. All right, so that's a little bit about the podcast. I would love to introduce you to Shanleigh.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I was very honored when you asked me to come on. I was like,
Yay.
Me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Say less.
Well, you are someone I really look up to in so many ways, and we have such a fun history of all the things that we've run into in our lives together. And we always have the best conversations too. So I thought it's just perfect to have you on because of really everything that you're doing. It's in alignment to me and our relationship, and it's just exciting to have you.
We're cohesive.
I love that. So give us your miracle moment. Let's hop right into it.
Yeah. So when you initially asked me this, I was very stumped because I feel like my life has had a lot of miracle moments, small and big. But the one that really stood out to me was COVID. So COVID was many things for different people. Some people lost people, and it was a really difficult year. And then there was other people that were able to take a step back and dial into what is really important to them. And I was one of those people. At the time, I was a flight attendant, and it made more sense for the company to stay afloat, for some people to take unemployment. Actually made more money making that decision, so it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
As a result of that, I had a lot of extra time, and I didn't know what to do with myself. So I was like, what better way than to optimize this moment for things I've been putting off for so long, and I've had all these excuses in the book to not do. So I did. I tapped into that. I got my personal training certificate. I created this community called You Movement. You might have remembered.
Yeah.
But I was able to reel a lot of people in during a time where there wasn't a lot of connection and create a space for them to have it online. And in a lot of ways, that was time that I haven't ever had. So that was a gift to me. Finances were good. And I also had a lot of lessons within like my relationship and passion work. Did a little bit of job hopping for a while. And I've been unemployed twice. So with that was hardship. And I learned a lot about like my resiliency in that process. And I think that that was a gift that led me to where I am now. To be able to do the line of work that I'm doing now.
Which is? Can you share?
I work with wounded warriors. And depending on what their needs, sometimes I could be doing like a suicide call. Other times it could be connecting them to means of services like mental health support,
Wow.
physical health, support with their benefits claims. That's a big pain point. If you're a veteran tuning in, you understand what I'm talking about. So yeah, I do a lot. It's diverse on a daily basis, but it's having the passion and the sustainability to support that. I don't think a former version of myself would have been able to do that. Seeing beyond what's actually in front of me and reading between the lines is the superpower that I now have that I didn't have prior to COVID.
Yeah.
So that's a long-winded answer to your question.
That was a beautiful answer. And that is a miracle that you were able to create that, and then that's led you to where you are now, and you're loving your job. And also now you have a lot of tools and resources that you didn't have prior.
Oh, yeah.
And so it seems like that has been a big miracle in your life.
Yeah, and I think I was striving for so long for a lot of different things, but primarily financial support. And I just kind of landed on that I am a passion-based person.
Yeah.
So I need to feel human connection, and I need to know that what I'm doing is serving people and not a selfish deed.
Yeah.
That's not to say that you can't have the best of both worlds if you're in sales. But with sales comes deadlines and requirements for numbers. And that felt like a moral sacrifice for me. I couldn't do it. So
I felt the same way, even in real estate too, because it's I really need to pay my bills. And so in real estate, it was a lot of that moral, okay, what can we do to really benefit my client here? And sometimes it's that level of negotiating can really pull on your heartstrings, and it's not always the stuff that you want to say or talk about. I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of the negotiation in real estate. I'm not a shark.
I'm not either.
I am a sweet little lamb. And I think passion projects are where we are supposed to reside.
I would agree. We talk about this a lot one-on-one, but we're both Virgos.
Yes.
We're different types of Virgos, but we have a lot of similarities.
Yes.
And in some weird way, we've always been in the same environment.
Which was from, college. We had some classes in college, dance and cheer. We both tried out for the Jaguars together. Gosh, you're the third person I've tried out for the Jaguars with on this podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My friends Raquel and Jordan are both on this podcast as well, and I've tried out with all three of them, and none of us have made the team.
Okay, but weird thing about that is I work with girls that I met trying out for the Jaguars, and now we work together later in professional environments.
Wow. Oh my gosh,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of weird universe points.
Jacksonville's the biggest little town.
Oh yeah, I couldn't have said that better myself. I would agree.
I say that a lot. Anytime anyone brings up Jacksonville, I'm like, oh, biggest little town. And because we run into everybody, especially
once you
being
know
born and
people-
raised. You weren't born and raised here, right?
No.
You moved here from.
New Smyrna Beach.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, small town.
for
Actual
college,
small
right?
Yes, I moved here for college.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in 2014.
Yeah.
I think, question mark.
That was, when I went to college too. And we're
Okay.
the same age, I think. Yeah.
We are.
Are we?
I don't know. I'll be 30 this year.
Okay, I'll be 29 this year.
Ah.
Okay, so close. I got one more year. Are you doing a funeral to your 20s party?
No,
Have you seen those?
I have, and I think those are really funny, but I'm also a big advocate that every day is a blessing.
Oh,
'Cause not
absolutely.
everybody gets to make it to 30. And I'm still hoping I do. Please.
Please, God, please.
I really want to embrace that moment. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm actually excited.
Yeah.
I am looking at it as an opportunity to finally be firm in what I've been working so hard for. I think when you first go to college, you have this idea that you're going to have your shit figured out.
Yes.
By the time you're 27.
Yeah.
No, I didn't start learning hard lessons as an adult until that age.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a different generation. I don't know.
I have no clue, but I definitely, I feel like last year was the first year I guess that was when I was 20, 27, 28, the first year that I was like, okay, like I at least now know what I want to do.
Yeah.
Which is pursuing my life coaching and yoga full time. It's a scary leap of faith to take because everything else I was doing because of financial fear.
Yeah.
And
which is so real.
Yeah. And so now it's going to take a few more years until it's financially set, because as an entrepreneur, it takes like 2 to 5 years to get your business, thriving.
Yeah.
And here we go. Here we are. We're on the ride.
Yeah.
A year into full-time life coaching and in yoga. So, and it's going well. It's picking up.
I feel like just in that time where you made the transition, who you are now, like your aura is so different. You glow. You're more firm in your own skin.
Yes.
And I think that's the hardest part about being an adult.
Honestly,
Just getting to that point.
Yeah. And I know I have so far to go too. My best friend roommate, she's 42, and she looks at me sometimes and she's just like, I remember when I was 28, and then I'm just like, I'm over here feeling like good. And she's like, no, you got some time. And I'm like, I get that.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe she's in her 40s.
She's going to be 43 next month.
Oh my gosh, I really thought she was in her 30s.
Yeah.
Her spirit, her so
body.
Youthful. I know.
She's stunning. Rebecca White,
Goals.
Fun or Nothing podcast. We love you so much.
Yeah, we do. Big fans.
Big fans. And yeah, so we got time, and I'm so grateful for how far we've come at the same time.
Yeah.
You and I both are very dedicated to personal growth and development. And that's why I love you so much. One of the reasons we resonate on all these conversations, and I can just let it all out with you, and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't even have to talk, and I just know.
Yes, it's true. It's very intuitive.
Morgan's having something off today. Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. And we were in real estate together as well, you and I. And from that, like, we learned so much about how you and I both work and about how we both handle our relationships. And we learned a lot about each other through that time. So I'm excited to dive deeper into that.
As brief as that was, I feel like it was so long.
I know.
Right?
How long were we on the same real estate team?
I honestly think I was only there like 2 months.
Really?
3 months. I know.
Wow.
It feels longer.
It does.
Because I did that for a little while, and then I went over to new construction. Which is a totally different ball field.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not ready to play ball. Let me get out of here quick.
Yeah. I was in real estate for 2 years, and it was kind of brutal. I'm not going to lie.
Honestly, you're really good at it, though, all things considered.
Thank you.
There's something to be said that you can be really good at something and it not be for you.
Yes. That's what actually one of my clients, who's a yoga client and a life coaching client now, she was telling me, I sold her house. So
I love that.
She was telling me literally yesterday, she's like, I just have to tell you, you are such a great realtor. So if you ever did want to get back into it, just let me know, and I'm sure I'll pull some clients for you and help you out with it. I'm like, I really never want to get back into it, but thank you for the compliment.
It's going to be a no for me, dog.
Yeah, I like this so much more. So sweet.
Well, you can sense it. You're in your element. Actually, it's ironically, Chris obviously follows you on social media.
Yes.
And he always
and Chris is her boyfriend of almost 7 years.
I always forget. I have to introduce you guys. But yeah, no, he's always saying, I love that Morgan's doing what she enjoys. Because when you were in real estate, we all knew it wasn't a fit.
Yeah.
And I can say that because I knew it wasn't a fit for me, and we're so much alike that I'm like, I know it's not a fit for her. But we got to do what we got to do to bring in some money sometimes.
Yeah.
You rode that wave a lot longer than I did. So
I really was trying so hard. I did not want to fail.
You invested in it.
Yeah.
It's not cheap to do real estate, people. And you don't get paid to just be there doing the legwork.
Open houses.
Like, all of that stuff only comes with a commission. And nobody told me that. So I was very shocked when I got in.
I got warned ahead of time, and I still was like, you know what? I'm a hustler. I can grind. I can do this. Let's go.
I can just see you like, let's do it.
Yeah. Let's go, y'all. Okay, I'm going to pull up my 3 questions for you. Question number 1, do you have any exciting projects in the works that you want to share?
Ooh la la, I do. So ironically, you asked me to be on your podcast, and I was really excited because it's like, yet again, another thing that we have in common. Universe is my podcast. It's coming on September 4th this year, 2024. I'm very excited. It's more of a self-help project. I've been talking about doing a podcast since 2018, and I couldn't land on what felt right to share that was consistent enough in my life. Because I'm one of those people that, because I'm intentional with personal development, what's good for me now is not going to be good for me in 6 months.
Yeah.
So how do I create something that's supposed to have consistency when I'm not consistent? It was so hard.
I know.
So it's had this like evolution. It started off being about book reviews. You know, I didn't have a lot of wealthy people in my life that I could lean on for advice, or, you know, I had my parents, but they only know so much. So I turned to books.
Yeah.
So I thought, why not share the context of great writers, people that are successful, that have carried me and given me wisdom with other people.
Yes.
And kind of what has happened in my life and how that has translated as like guidance for me. But it was a lot of work. It was a lot of, it took away from the reading for me, and I enjoy reading. So I pumped the brakes on that, which has led me to where I am now. Because I'm on this self-help journey, why not make that about why not that be my podcast, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, really
You
just
have so much to share because you pour yourself into whatever you do.
I do.
And it's amazing.
Yeah. That's my greatest strength and my biggest burden. Maybe you can relate.
Oh, 100%.
But I am very excited. I've been very anxious because it's vulnerable. Can you relate to that at all?
I went through a long time, like the 6-month road trip I went on in 2019, 2020. That was my most vulnerable time I've ever been through. And I think I got a lot of that out then. These days, I can post just about anything and just send it. Like, I don't really... Full send. I don't really care what you guys think about me. I'm pretty sure of who I am. I'm pretty confident in who I am and who I've created myself to be. And you're going to have your own perception of me anyways. So why would I care?
Mic drop.
Mic drop. I love me. I think I'm pretty cool.
You are pretty cool.
Oh, stop.
And everybody else that disagrees, well, you're wrong.
Love you. I think that's one of the coolest features about someone is when someone is, you know, they love themselves, they're confident in themselves, and you either like me or you don't. And people don't like people for crazy reasons, so whatever.
I would even say, though, like thinking back from early 90s, it was so much easier to just be confident in who you are because you're not consuming other people's projections of what you should be on a constant basis.
Oh my gosh, the comparison game with social media is...
Abort that mission right now. I'm a victim of that. High key. But I think maybe this is true, maybe it's not, but the closer you get to your 30s, the more you're like, pardon my French, but fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Like, it don't matter.
Yeah. No.
We get one life. Why not just enjoy it?
Yes.
And each other. I mean, you and I are never going to have this moment again.
No, this is so special. Thank goodness we are recording this.
Yeah, like,
we're recording this moment.
I know. But, you know, you get to just feel this energy once. So I try to remember that as I lean into this discomfort. I'm very excited about it. It's been a long project and it has had its own evolution. So that's going to be fun to share.
Yeah.
And hey, if it fails, it fails. At least I'm doing it.
Yes.
And I'm enjoying it.
Yes, 100%. That's how I feel about this too. I'm like, I'll run with it as long as my heart desires and feels inspired to do it. And then if it gets tabled or backburnered, then that's what's meant to happen.
Yeah.
And because we evolve so much so quickly. but we can't let that fast evolution stop us from being creators.
Oh, 100%. I think that's a great point to point out, because there's this misconception that once you start something, if you don't finish it, you're inconsistent. That couldn't be more false.
Yes.
Sometimes you just have to try it and put yourself out there to see if you like it and if you're aligned with it. Sometimes it's a home run.
Yeah.
And then other times, it fades and you move on. It's kind of like celebrities, right? When they're in their prime, they're doing one thing, and then they get to a certain age where they're like, let me pivot and just do less movies. That's okay.
Yes.
It's okay to stop and move on to something else.
Yeah. And we don't judge them, but we judge ourselves so harshly.
Right? I'm my worst critic.
Same.
I don't care what anybody else thinks, but it's usually me that's like,
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like this.
Yes.
Like, chill, girl. Me to me.
I know. It's never me caring about what other people think, but me versus my best self.
Right?
That's the challenge. I compare myself to my highest potential. And so for a while, I was always letting myself down because I had this ideal version of Morgan that I am literally trying to compare myself to every single day. And that's exhausting. That's where burnout comes from. So comparison's the thief of all joy.
It really is.
Even when it's you versus you.
And your own expectations for yourself. I think that's, what do they call it? Slave to perfection?
Yes. The slave to perfection. Oh my gosh, my nose has been so itchy. I don't know why.
Itchy, girl.
I just need to let it out.
She's not picking her nose.
I'm not picking
so
my nose.
Stop your judgment.
I just need to itch the heck out of it, and then hopefully it'll stop, but
Don't be rude.
we're being real. We have nose itches.
Your nose is itchy. I'm sweating. So it happens, ladies. It's okay.
Yeah, this is a toasty house. And then all these lights, not gonna lie, this is a lot of lights.
It's the lights. Your house is actually quite comfortable. And it's really fun. You guys should come over.
Oh my gosh, yes. Come see it. It's the girl pad.
Yeah. What did I call it?
The babe.
The babe pad. Yeah.
Babe pad.
I don't even remember what my own phrase is.
Question number 2.
Ooh.
How in the world do you do 75 hard?
Oh, 75 hard. The irony in that is that it was one of those programs that I was always like, like, that's stupid. That's too intense. And the reason I had that mindset is because I'm so well versed with mental health that I understand deeper layers. Yeah. And I give a lot of people grace to be on their own path. So to confine people to one path and to make them feel like if they're not doing that they're failing, felt wrong to me. But it was the exact reason why I needed to do it. A pattern that I've had in my own life is that I don't start something out of over analyzing the process, having to overly plan. It's analysis paralysis at the end of the day. Let's just call it what it is. So then I don't actually do, or long enough to do it. So I told myself that I would try it. I also, with my current role, am more sedentary than I've ever been in my life. So I gained 15 pounds, and that was enough motivation to tackle both the physical side, but more importantly, this is gauged for like a mental challenge. So I had to kind of see how that fit into my schedule, and it was so hard. I think everybody always talks about like a specific day that's the hardest for them. Ironically, day 3 through 5 are always the hardest. I did this once before and I'm doing it again now. Those days, it's like, do I really want to do this? Like, I just want to go get McDonald's.
Yeah, those are probably the easiest days to quit because it's still early on.
Again, you don't have to it's not starting over after, like you had mentioned before, like 60 days in. That's a whole different element there. Yeah.
So, I'll share. I tried 75 hard, and this was back in 2021. And I was about 60 days in, and I was like really struggling with why am I doing this? I wrote out my why to begin with, but I just didn't resonate with it anymore. I was like, at first I was doing it to prove to myself that I could do something for 75 days. And then I got to 60 days and I just felt like crap. Like I was burnt out. My mental health had gone down the drain. I was just like, why am I doing this? This is hard, obviously. 75 hard.
It is hard.
And I just wasn't happy doing it. I felt like I was doing it to prove something to other people because I was like, I'm comfortable with how much I accomplish every day. I'm comfortable if I don't do all these things. But, you know, that's the kind of fight there too. Am I being weak for not, you know, following it all the way to 15 more days? It was only 2 more weeks. Like I could have done it, but I had to listen to myself and say, I'm confident in who I am. I don't need my own approval like that. I don't know, because I do kind of go back and forth with, is it me failing and not trusting myself, or was it what I needed for my mental health and it's just better for me to not do it? Can you help me unravel that?
I think there's a combination of things there. A lot can be said to a physical response when you're doing something that doesn't actually align with you. I've had that several times with work environments. Like my body physically attacks me and I get sick. Sometimes that comes out in mood outbursts too. So in some ways it could have been resistance to it. In other ways, you know, the actual mental challenge of it is being able to push through that discomfort and do it anyways, just because it's something you said you were going to commit to.
Yeah.
And following that through, even if it, because after the 75 days, you did it and you don't have to do it again.
Yeah.
You know?
And maybe, so I look back, because that was 2021. And so that, I can just leave that where it was, because there's been many other times where I've proven to myself that I can do something. Like this, at the beginning of this year, I did 3 months with, you know, no drinking, no smoking, which you understand that. You've been sober for 2 years?
3.
3 years.
I think so, right?
That's amazing.
Did I do 3? Yeah, it was 3.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I only did 3 months. And that was my commitment to myself, and I made it through. And that helped me develop that self-trust and being a woman of my word. And that's all I really wanted from 75 Hard, was to trust myself and finish and follow through. So whatever that looks like in your life, however that can help build self-confidence, even if it's not the way that you originally intended it, it doesn't make it wrong or bad, but it can, you know, you can develop that self-trust in another way.
And I do think, for what it's worth, it depends on how loud your inner demons are. I know I have a lot, and it is 100% from like trauma experiences. But I'm still actively working through those things daily.
Yeah.
And there are some days where the emotional side of that does consume me, which is why it cripples me. 75 Hard has taught me that I can do those tedious things through anything that I'm emotionally experiencing if I commit to it. And I didn't used to be able to do that. Like I would let my emotions rule me and have no progress at all. So for me, that was the benefit of the challenge.
Yeah.
It's not the tasks themselves that I think are overly difficult, but the tedious requirements that are in the fine print of those. And if you're unfamiliar with the tasks, 75 Hard is 2 workouts that are 45 minutes. One has to be outside with no cover over top, no umbrella if it rains, a gallon of water, reading 10 pages a day, taking a progress picture.
That's where I failed.
Following a diet.
Yes.
No alcohol and no cheat meals. So it was a little easier for me because I was already doing the no alcohol thing. I had committed to that. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why I stopped alcohol before?
I really do.
So it's 2 things, actually. A good friend of mine really suffered from substance abuse, and I loved her dearly. But I did have to part ways with that friendship to protect my own mental health at some point. And then alongside that, my body was physically responding. I could just have like a drink or two. Like, I loved margaritas. I still think about them sometimes. But yeah, with that, my hands would swell, my feet would swell, and I would feel hungover for like 5 days off of like 2 drinks.
Whoa, that's not good.
It was too much. So I was like, okay, well, this will be an easy thing to filter out for now. And then we'll go from there. So that segued nicely into the 75 hard and made it a little easier.
Good, yeah. And you and Chris have done it together, right?
We have. What's funny is that he actually made it through twice, failed twice.
Yeah.
I want to say around the 60-day mark. And had to start over because of the progress picture.
Yeah.
I forgot to do that progress picture both times.
Yeah.
So he finally did it again for the 3rd time, made it through just fine. Now we're both doing it again for the first time together at the same time.
Y'all are amazing because, I mean, I didn't take my progress picture a lot of times, but I was not starting over. There's no way I'm starting over 75 hard for a progress picture. So props to you, Chris.
Well, that's the discipline element of it, though. Yeah. It's actually being honest with yourself, which I used to lie to myself a lot.
Yeah.
And that was part of my demon.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I know I'm a little too easy on myself. I'm so compassionate with me.
Well, I think it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And like I shared before, I had my criticisms about it.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's appropriate for everybody as like a starting point.
Yeah. And then remember, comparison's the thief of all joy. So if I'm going to compare myself to your ability to have 75 hard work and benefit for your life, I'm reducing my own joy. So I'm not going to do that.
You are. And you're also, we're not the same person.
We're not.
So I think some people thrive off of kind of being scrappy, having their hands in multiple buckets at once, and
me.
Not having structure to it, but they get it done.
Yes.
And then there's other people that are a little more rigid.
And that's where our Virgos differentiate. Like,
totally different.
That's why I'm a very, a little more of like a chaotic Virgo, like a little variety chaos Virgo. Like, my house isn't always a mess. Like, my motto used to be, if my house is a mess, I'm doing my best. Like, I'm doing my best. So.
Wait, can we chant that?
Yeah. If my house is a mess, I'm doing my best. If my house is a mess, I'm doing my best. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a great example of giving yourself grace.
And so that's an interesting topic too. How are we doing on time? I love this topic and conversation. I am really happy with however long this podcast goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, with that, so we talked about Chris a little bit, but I want to ask, so you've been with Chris for nearly 7 years. What have been some surprises in your relationship, and how have you guys overcome different surprises and circumstances?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so passionate about relationship topics because I think there's a lot of experts out there nowadays. There's no one size fits all. And a lot of what you think you need and is required for a long-term relationship, or more so like a marriage, is not what you expect.
Yeah.
So I think coming into this relationship, obviously, I was excited. Who isn't?
Yeah.
But I had this false perception of what a relationship was, and whether or not you work through those hard things that come up, and what are the cues? Do you stay or do you leave, or what's the combination of both? At some point in a long-term relationship, let's normalize that it's okay to question if that person's right for you. That's normal.
Absolutely.
If you're not having that conversation, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he might be staying in something that's not good for you.
Could be comfortable. I mean, I don't know. That's my personal perception of that. So to your point, I came into this relationship thinking that as long as we loved each other, we would get through everything. There are so many other variables that come with sharing your life with someone. So we have seen financial hardship together. We've traveled a lot together. We experienced COVID, isolation together. We lived with his parents for the first 3 years of our relationship.
Whoa.
Without like any foundation in place.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't recommend that. But in some ways, that is the blessing that has become in our relationship, because I got to see a lot of where he came from, why he is the way that he is, so that I could implement grace for the areas that maybe he wasn't taught, that I might have been taught in my family, and vice versa. He's taught me to like take a fucking chill pill.
Yeah.
Life can be more fun than what I was making it. And I think I've also given him a lot of wisdom. That sounds weird to say, but I do think that in some ways you can be naively optimistic.
Yeah.
And he was a victim of that too. So yeah, with those hardships and things, we've had the uncomfortable conversations, we've had the cries, we've had the disagreements, we've had to work on communication. We're so different.
Yeah.
With how we communicate, but also creating a safe space so that we can have that together.
I love it.
So yeah, I would say that if you can get to a point where you're both intentionally trying and you're meeting in the middle to make it work, then you're going to be fine in a marriage.
Yeah.
There's really nothing else to it.
Yeah. And then we were talking a little bit offset about how that like safety in a relationship and how feeling so good and so confident with your partner can really change your thoughts and feelings on marriage and kids.
Oh, yes.
Like having that safe container of a relationship opens up that desire. So share about your...
Yeah. So I think you were sharing with me that you feel like you're a born mother. And that's something that I have never felt. Like kids was never a thought to me, even as like a little girl. I've always wanted a partner in life and to travel.
Yeah.
That has been my vision. But I'm also getting to a point with Chris where we have that foundation now, and we have a mutual alignment of how we would raise kids and what we value, what we want as far as like wisdom goes to pass down to them. It makes you see things a little differently. Like, okay, I do want a child with this person. Like, and I want to wait until it's an appropriate time. You know, I'm not saying we're going to do that now. Even marriage to that point, we're 7 years in. Like, that's obviously something that we want. But we're also not in a financial place where we could go into that peacefully. You know, it's important to us both that when that time comes, we have the freedom to travel and have the freedom to have a family without having to stress for money. Or like our money needs to be working for us before we introduce life to the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. So. I love that. Y'all have such a good teamwork dynamic and you're both so willing. And I think those are two massive components to a healthy relationship.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree. And to that point though, it hasn't always been like that. We had to really work and see beyond what was in front of us. Like we were two people that were both very stubborn with protecting ourselves. I think there was a lot of walls coming into this where he didn't feel safe because of a past relationship, and the same with me. Like I would get to a point where I felt so comfortable and confident, and then I was surprised when things ended. And so I had this fear that if I let myself get too comfortable and reassured, then that would happen again.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the same applied to him. So once we worked past that, it was like, oh, you do love me.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yes.
You're not going anywhere. This is great. But to that point, I've known you so long.
Yeah.
And you've had a journey with men in your life.
I have.
So give us the scoop. Where are you at right now?
Oh, I love to share. Well, I do have a new boyfriend and I'm so excited. I'm so giddy about it because it's like we're still in that fresh, like couple months in.
Heck yeah.
Honeymoon phase. So it's super fun and
stay moony.
Yeah. It's fun. And he is just so willing to, you know, do anything for me and show his love however he can. And when someone adores you to that level, like
See, that is so important, and the fact that you feel it so early is so much validation.
Well, then there's the question. It's like, is it just the honeymoon phase? There's a lot of like, it's so good that like it makes me want to question everything. And is this a temporary exciting high? But at the same time, I'm very
maybe this will ground
confident.
you a little.
Mm-hmm.
With every relationship that we enter and leave, we gain some kind of lesson.
Yeah.
Whether that's identifying what we liked about it, that is a requirement moving forward, but also what we didn't like about it, and what would also be modified in your next relationship.
Yes.
So,
the what we want and what we don't want.
So what really drew you in? What's his name, by the way?
His name's Joey.
Joey. Okay, Joey. What was so appealing to him on that initial, magnetic connection that maybe you didn't have in the last one, or maybe you did? What are the similar qualities?
The childlike playfulness. Like when I'm around him, we play, we laugh, we giggle. I mean, we're constantly like wrestling and like battling it out, and that's just so fun to me. So I'm like, yes, I want to dance in the kitchen and sing to the top of our lungs in the car and be thrown into the ocean and play pranks on each other. Like, I want that childlike spark constantly, and he really brings that to the table. And he shows love in all 5 love languages, which is all a girl could ever ask.
Oh my God, what a steal.
Yeah. And he's a stud. Like, I don't know if have you seen a picture of him yet?
I think I have.
Maybe I should show you right now.
Wait, no, I totally lurked him. I lied.
You stalked him?
I stalked him because when you posted a picture, I was like, wait, what's this guy? He's got a podcast, right?
He does have a podcast.
What's his podcast name?
OG Sessions. Shout out OG Sessions.
Subscribe.
Yes. So yeah, this is him and Sunny. He's holding Sunny. He's pretty cute.
Okay, you definitely have a thing for blondes.
I'm
gonna put it out there.
Yeah, I might.
I have a thing for black-haired guys.
Yeah,
so.
tall dark. Yeah.
So cliche.
Yeah. But yeah, he's handsome and I like him. So shout out to Joey.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
I know. I honestly think that you're really good at picking men in general.
I'm just grateful that good men pick me, and I filter out the ones who I don't think are good. I do have a good filter.
I would say Virgos are particular in general about who they open up to. It takes a lot of time to nourish
Honestly,
trust.
it really does.
So, I mean, there's something to that too. That's from the universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank God.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, 5 tips.
Oh, 5 tips.
Yes.
I'm going to read mine because I think they're important.
Beautiful. And we can dive into them individually if you would like.
Sure. So I think that there's always a lesson and a blessing that comes in disguise as long as you're willing to look for it and receive it.
Yes.
That comes from a place of, being unemployed and experiencing that financial hardship, like in the relationship strain that it causes. But in the midst of that, Chris could even testify that I'm always like, okay, I'm looking for the lesson. Today is hard. I don't know what lesson I'm being taught right now, but I'm getting through it.
Yeah.
And I think if you have that mentality and you're putting one foot in front of the other, you're never going to fail.
100%.
You truly only fail when you decide to give up.
Yeah. Everything's a lesson or a blessing. It's for a reason or it's for a season.
Oh, I like that. You're so good with that. Are you sure you're not a teacher?
I've said that before because I am a life coach.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, and I think teachers always have like a lot of color and they're really vibrant and fun. And that's you to a T.
Oh my gosh, that'd be fun. I guess the double buns help.
Well, double buns are in. If you're not space bunning, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
What I always think of, is it Zoe 101?
Yeah.
Or Xenon, girl of the 21st
Oh,
century.
Xenon.
That's who I'm thinking of. I always think of her.
She's so
when I see
cute.
those
Yeah.
Xenons.
I know. I loved her growing up.
Okay. Next one.
Tip number 2.
So you are all that you have from day one until the end.
Yeah.
So that is the most important relationship, no matter what.
Absolutely.
Never forget it. If you're not your best, you cannot be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because what are you contributing?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that out there.
I love that. Yeah, if you're showing up in a broken state where you don't have love for yourself, how can you pour love out from a full cup? You have to fill up your cup first and then pour from a full cup into your third entity relationship cup.
And how does your partner know what to pour into yours?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know, how can you tell them?
Yeah. Yeah.
For real, it's like love languages without knowing what they are. Like, I don't know.
I know, right? Wow. So grateful for the love languages.
Yeah, me too.
Those have, I think before love languages came out, how there were probably so many broken relationships where someone was doing everything for someone and then that person only received love through words. And they're like, why don't you ever tell me you love me? Do you even love me? And they're like, no, but I do the dishes every day. Like, don't you see me?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm a complicated order with love languages. I think 3 of the 5 are the same percentage.
Yeah.
And the last 2 are not far off. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
I need all 5. I need all 5. And I'm just really upfront with that.
yeah.
Like,
I think a good dose of all of them is
Yeah.
never going to hurt anybody,
Yeah.
I think. Right?
and then, gifts. Speaking of love languages, I used to never admit that gifts was a big love language for me because I didn't want to be that like needy, materialistic girl. But my dad, the way he shows love is through gifts. He's not a big words person. We don't get the most quality time. He's not physical touch. We don't touch each other. And then, what was the other one? Acts of service. He's big acts of service, big gifts. And having a dad who gives love that way, those are 2 of my top love languages, is acts of service and gifts. And I wasn't admitting the gifts part at all. But now it's a big deal.
It sounds like you were kind of made to feel like you were bad for valuing those things, when at the end of the day, who doesn't love to be surprised with something? Like, whether it be publicly or privately, I mean, I'm sure that's a preference. Like, I prefer private. But hey, if you thought of me when you picked this out, even if I don't like it, it's like you thought of me.
Yeah.
And you were kind enough to just like bring it to me.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I love about Joey too. If he comes over, I always have fresh flowers. So he will always bring me fresh flowers. He's aware of when my flowers are dying, and he will go bring flowers over here every time.
Top tier.
It's pretty great.
Okay, guys, take notes. No, that's amazing.
It is.
But it's so simple.
It is.
I always tell Chris, actually, I'm going to tangent here a little bit.
Perfect.
But there's a colleague of mine. She was talking about love language. And she was like, I'll never forget this couple. One night they threw a party. The wife wasn't feeling good. And the husband, was tipsy, had been drinking a while. And she wasn't thinking and went to him and was like, hey, we don't have XYZ medication. Would you mind running to CVS to grab it for me? And he was like, babe, I'd love to, but I've been drinking. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even think about it. Like, forget about it. This man ordered himself an Uber to go get her the prescription that she needed.
Wow.
So she didn't have to suffer the whole night.
Wow.
And she was like, that is my standard for a man.
Yeah.
And it's so simple. It doesn't require much, but it's the thought and what's the word I'm looking for? The consideration. To be considerate of your partner no matter the circumstances, and to just do something like that without having to be asked.
Yeah. If he wanted to, he would.
Cold star forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. And I think a lot of it is sometimes the men, like, who would think of that? I think a lot of men wouldn't even think to do that. So the more that men educate themselves on how to be a better partner, you know, listening to this podcast, you're educating yourself in some way, shape, or form. So now the awareness, you know how to be a better partner.
Yeah.
It's important to educate.
Podcasts. I'm a big advocate for couples therapy. You know, it's hard, but when you do it and you go in with the open mind that, okay, there's something that could potentially benefit us, at least we're exhausting all options without making like a big decision in advance.
Yes.
If you can exhaust everything and it's still not work, then at least you tried and you can part ways cordially. I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Enjoy trying.
I love that. Yeah. What's our next tip? Are we on number 3? Or 4?
I think we're on 3.
3. Perfect.
If you find yourself questioning who you are in the presence of someone else, then the odds are they're not aligned with you. And that's okay. But don't change who you are to make that relationship be something it's not.
Amen. Wow.
I was a victim of that for so long.
Same.
People pleaser.
Yeah. Recovering people pleaser.
Yeah, recovering. We are no longer doing that.
I mean, that one was just so well said. Like, you said it so perfectly. I'm like, I don't even have any words to add to that.
Morgan is speechless.
I'm speechless. That was so good.
Yeah.
I have stories I could tell, but that's all they need to
Well, I
hear.
want to hear them in our 7 minutes of chat.
Okay.
Okay, the last 2, I would say remain present.
Yes.
We never get this moment back. And when we're so caught up in our own thoughts, we're not truly absorbing the energy, the 5 senses really, of what is in today's time.
Yeah.
And because our life is the gift that we have, you know, tomorrow's not promised. So I'd rather die knowing that I was here with you and I was excited about our conversation and like embracing us, and then questioning if I even remembered the experience.
Yeah.
What was said? How did you feel? You know, like all of that matters, and that's what burns into your brain when you think back, you know, in your 80s about your time in your 20s.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to remember if you weren't actually here in your mind?
So how do you stay present?
I know. It's tough. So I think a lot of that is just managing my anxiety. And when I know I'm about to be in front of people, I kind of do what Mel Robbins does. She's also a podcaster and an author. She counts back 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like she's about to walk on stage. So I take those deep breaths and I say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I literally picture a chalkboard in my head with things written on it, and I'm wiping it clean so that when I get in front of the person, they start writing the next thing on the chalkboard.
Yes. I love that.
It's very
That's
visual.
I'm very visual too. I've pictured, like, if I'm ever gonna go speak in front of a lot of people, because I do public speaking, and you have butterflies in your stomach,
Oh yeah.
I envision that cluster of butterflies starting to fly into formation, like a bird V formation, and then I just channel that nervousness into excitement, and I'm just like, here we go.
I love that you're visual too. It's cool to see what other people do to make things work, right? Because you're really good at speaking in front of a crowd, and even if you are nervous, you're like, okay guys, I don't know why, but I just need to take a deep breath because I'm nervous. And you're like,
Yeah.
and then you're like a totally different person in the next breath. I think you did that for your first happiness
Oh, yeah.
1.0.
Happiness 101.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I remember you doing that, and I was like, I love that she is confident enough in herself to just normalize being a human in front of other humans.
Yes.
So that we could actually connect to one another. Because if
Yes.
there's that block there,
Yeah.
your audience is not going to pick up on you.
perfection facade.
Yeah.
It-
That's bullshit.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be something I'm not. I'm just trying to help people. And when you help a lot of people, you got to put yourself out there. And it's not always so perfect.
Yeah. Because we're not.
No.
That's actually what helps us connect.
Mm-hmm.
Our imperfections.
Our relatability.
Yeah. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The more you know.
The more you know. Tip number 4.
I think this is the last one.
5. Okay.
Yeah. Last
Can't
one.
keep
5.
it. Perfect.
If you give yourself grace, it also gives you permission to filter through judgment to give other people grace.
Yes.
Because it's so easy to point a finger and make an assumption based off of your reality than to take a moment to pause and say, okay, wait, what are things that this person could be going through right now that's causing the behavior that's not making sense to me with the day that I've had? It's so much easier to say, you're crazy. I'm superior to you because you're acting like that. No. Human emotion is okay. Sometimes we just need to move on in our own lives and let them live theirs.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely. Like, have you ever been super, super angry in a grocery store?
Oh, yeah.
And, like, not necessarily at the grocery store. Like, you're super, super angry with, like, work or whatever happened that day, and you can't shake it. And you just feel that anger, but you still have to go grocery shopping. And you don't want to smile. And if anyone smiles at you, you're more mad. You're like, what are you smiling so hard about? Like, yeah, leave me alone. I'm having a day. Rawr. Have you experienced that, or is it?
No, I have. And it would intensify those feelings if somebody looked at me and was like, why are you so angry?
Yeah. It makes it so much worse.
I'd be like, I would lose it.
Yeah.
But instead, like, I see people all the time that might be in that state.
Exactly. So how can we know, like, okay, if you and I, 2 of the most happy, positive, bubbly people I've ever known, and we always smile at everyone. So for us to go into a grocery store and see someone who looks angry, are we going to, smile at them, try to make their day, or are we just going to let them live and not judge them and just not even focus on them because they're having their human experience? They're the ones who are angry in the grocery store that day. We've got to give them grace and love, just like we would want grace and love if we were angry in the grocery store.
To that example, something like that I would do, one, either I'd feel out the energy.
Yeah.
So if they're yelling, obviously, I think I would stay to myself.
Yes, absolutely.
Let them have their moment.
Yeah.
But if it seems like something is just in their mind and they're not there, or they're having a hard day and they're frustrated, I would try to do something that would make their day better. And that could be buying them a stick of chocolate and then handing it to them and saying, I hope this brightens your day. Not, I hope your day gets better.
Yeah.
Because then that draws attention to what's obvious.
Yeah.
Just, I hope this brightens your day.
Yeah.
An act of kindness can go a long way. A smile
Absolutely.
can go a long way. Holding a door open can go a long way.
Yeah. Compliments. Little
Less
compliments.
judgment, more love.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, let's 7-minute chit chat.
Okay.
Okay.
Talk dirty to me. Oh,
Ooh.
that song was in my head this whole time. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, I'm starting a timer.
Oh, can I ask you something?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Starting now.
So a colleague of mine recently asked me what my quirky trait is.
Yeah.
What's yours? I'll share mine, but I want to hear yours.
My
first.
quirky trait. That's so hard. In context to like what?
Would it help if I went first?
I think so.
Okay. So I thought about it for a minute, and my quirky trait is that on a whim, I'm a walking jukebox.
Oh, yeah.
Any song, don't know why or how it comes to my mind, and I'm either singing it, I'm whistling it, I'm humming it, I'm doing something. I could be dancing to it in a store.
Yeah.
I'm always dancing in the grocery store. I'm a child, okay?
Yes. That's how it should be.
Let's get it out there.
We have to play.
I am a child.
Good.
That's one. And then since I was a little girl, I've always written my name like an autograph in the shower. several times until I get out of the shower, because like I will be famous one day.
Absolutely.
But, like not too famous, like, chill famous.
Yeah. Just famous enough.
Yeah, enough to
sign autographs.
Enough to sign autographs, because I've always wanted to be an author.
Yeah.
So like I practice my author signature.
Yes.
Maybe that's
so
a form of
cute. I
manifestation.
love that.
Yeah, those are my quirky things.
I love that. I mean, I do so many weird things on a consistent basis. Like, I think I'm just a weird person in general.
That's kind of weird.
A good kind of weird. I feel like Joey could answer this question much better, because he pulls out the weirdest versions of me. Quirky trait. I think that when I am around like Becca or Joey, I really, gosh, I don't even know what I do. I can't even.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. It makes me dig deep. I just am overall, like, my facial expressions, my noises I make a lot of weird noises. I will like meow sometimes. I'll bark. I bark at certain things. Yeah, definitely. Okay, we found it. Animal noises, definitely it. Like, if I'm feeling a little spicy or like a little sexy, sometimes I'm just do a little.
Is that like your bat signal for like let's go, Joey?
Go. Yeah. You just feel a little extra spicy. You're just like, come here. It's primal, I guess.
I love that. I might steal that one.
Yeah, just give Chris a little. He might like the cute little kitten. I don't know.
He might.
That's so funny.
Yeah. I like to like drop something and make him like bend over to pick it up.
You make him do the bend and snap?
Yeah.
Yeah?
And then I'm like, ow.
That's hilarious.
He's like, you wanna go?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh my gosh. So, Becca, okay, let's talk about hero sizing. Have you heard of hero sizing your man? Hero sizing is where you hype your man up like a lot. Like, you're their woman, you're the hype girl in the relationship. So making him feel like a hero, the manliest man, like the strongest, best. Yeah, like, what do you do to hero size Chris?
Oh my gosh.
Besides catcall him when he bends over.
I say, "Zion, daddy." Like, and then I hit his butt. He doesn't like that I hit his butt. I used to hit it too hard, and he said that was like too aggressive for him. So I've toned back a little.
Yeah.
I can't not do that, because that's how I flirt.
Yeah.
I also am very silly, so I'll play games with him to get his attention and like let him know that he is fun.
Yeah.
He is the child that I want to be a child with, you know? He meets me in the middle with like talking like a baby.
Oh my gosh, baby talk is so fun.
Yeah.
I don't know why in a relationship when you're so comfortable with someone, baby talk, like, why is it such a thing?
It's like goofy. It's not like
yeah, no.
It's not like that. It's more like I'm trying to think. I'll like come out to him and be like, "You want to go to Pound Town?" And he hates that, but he loves it too, because he's like, "Yeah, let me put my pee in you."
Oh my god.
That's how we talk. And we use like childlike language.
Yeah.
For adult parts. So, like, as weird as that sounds,
that's hilarious.
Saying out loud is really weird, but yeah, that's what we do.
That's so funny. That's how you hero size him?
I do.
It's so cute.
Well, I'm kind of the opposite. It's like I don't call it. Okay, how do I say this? My man is organically satisfying. I will say that.
Okay.
We'll put it out there.
What a great way to put that.
But I
think everyone knows what you mean.
I like to degrade it. So I call him Little Chris.
Oh my gosh.
Chris is Big Chris, and that's Little Chris.
That's so funny.
So yeah.
I've got Joey and I've got Jimmy.
You don't put little in there?
No.
Oh, you're so much nicer than me.
Well, I mean, he's organically fantastic. What did you say? Organically satisfying.
Yeah.
I mean, Joey's organically satisfying too. Well, Jimmy is, I guess I should say.
Jimmy and Joey.
Yeah. So, but no, I don't call it little. I don't know if he would like that.
Yeah. Well, most men don't. So. But that's part of why I do it.
Yeah. Because, I mean, Chris should be very proud of himself. And he knows it's not really little.
So the funny
That's
thing
so
about
funny.
that...
This is our conversation. We got 20 seconds left.
Okay, real quick. The funny thing about it is that he's very confident and like knows that he is well endowed.
Well done.
So it's fun for me to say that it's little because he's like, bitch.
Yeah.
And then it creates this like flirtation that is like frustrated. And I dig that.
The heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta like build up some pressure energy there. Like I am oh my gosh, we should have a whole nother conversation about this.
We'll do another one.
Yeah. Because the dynamic between like, I don't know, heat and I'm not going to dive into it, but
that's foreplay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's necessary, especially for women who overthink, because I need a lot of mental stimulation.
You and I both.
Yeah.
Well, I loved this.
Okay, this is great.
Every bit of it. We could talk all day, so
we really could.
We'll postpone this one to another episode.
Yeah, this is an awesome
episode.
Thank you.
I feel so honored.
Oh, you're amazing. I cannot wait to be a guest on your podcast in September.
Oh, yes, please tune in for that.
And it's spelled...
So it's universe, but it's spelled Y-O-U and then N-I-V-E-R-S-E.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I will definitely, when that launches, I will link that podcast in the comments here on this podcast or the description. Oh, you're so awesome. If you're watching this and it's September and her podcast is launched, go in the comments or the description and I'll put somewhere the link to her podcast so you guys can watch it.
Oh, you're so awesome. Thank you.
Yes, I can't wait. Yay. I'm so excited. And we love you, Chris. That was hilarious.
I'm sorry I outed you.
Same, Joey. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the 1357 podcast. This has been so much fun. Don't forget to like, comment. We want to hear all your thoughts in the comments, almost all of them. I know this was a silly, fun time. Be kind. Yes. So we want to hear your thoughts in the comments, and then don't forget to turn on your notifications. Also, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok at 1357 podcast. And then if you're a creator and you want to share your story coming onto this podcast, share your 1357, please email me at 1357.pod@gmail.com. And I'd love to have you on, whether we do a virtual podcast or in our studio here. We'd love to have you. Hope you have an incredible day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace. Thank you.